Hey everybody, welcome back to Gaijin Gaiden. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about Amazon Japan. Uh, now, just like back in America, Amazon is an extremely handy website. But one thing that's nice about Amazon here is that you can connect it to your phone bill, and basically, if you buy something on Amazon, then if for like Kindle stuff, for example, it can be added to your next phone bill. There is a limit to this. It's like about roughly $200 a month, which is fine. I mean, I try not to buy. I certainly don't spend $200 a month on Kindle books. Um, and of course, you can also do here with Amazon pay at a convenience store. You just go there, you punch in a few numbers in a little machine that the convenience stores have here, and then you go and pay the clerk. And depending on what exactly you're doing, it can be processed within a couple of hours at most. For example, if I buy a game on Steam, if I pay for it and then by the time I get back to, like, if it takes me a few minutes, like about 5-10 minutes to walk to the convenience store that I usually use when I do that, if I buy something on Steam and I pay for it at the convenience store, and then by the time I get back home, it's ready to go. Amazon, uh, usually I get like a confirmation message pretty quickly of something like that. Sometimes though, it can take a little while. Like I placed an order, and the thing that the code I needed to punch into the machine in order to pay for it, that email didn't come for like more than 30 minutes later, which is kind of annoying because I actually had gone down to the station to get some food. No, I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong thing. I got a message saying that you could do what's called from Amazon convenience store pickup, where you can pick your item up at the convenience store. And I'd done that, and I got the message that my item was ready, but it was like 30 some minutes later before they sent me the thing where I would have the code to punch in to get the piece of paper to give to the clerk to get my item. So that was kind of annoying because I actually got the message while I was literally right by the convenience store. I'd gone down there to have lunch at a nearby restaurant. So I was kind of annoyed there. It's sort of just like, oh, come on, I'm right here. Granted, in the end, I only had to wait about 30 minutes, but it's just one of those things. It's like, oh man, why do I have to wait even longer? But I guess perhaps that's just a sign of how impatient we are in this society, modern society today. Like we can't wait for anything. Like having to wait 30 minutes seems like such a terrible trial. But that's just kind of the way things are. Um, One thing I don't like about Amazon Japan is that if you click on an item, it automatically calls up a new tab, which I find really annoying. Granted, at the end of the day, it's a small thing, but if you're doing quite a bit of browsing, like having like I don't want a million tabs. If there's something that I want to come back to, I can always open up one myself and just come back there, copy and paste the URL and come back later. Again, it's a pretty minor complaint, but it's still there. And oh my God, going back to using payment with my phone, oh man, that was such an enormous pain in the butt to set up. I'm ultimately glad that my phone company did have English customer service because they were able to kind of work with me and get it set up. Um, Amazon, incidentally, for things like Kindle, does not have English customer service here in Japan. They do have for things like delivery, but not for things involving electronic devices like Kindle, which, okay, you know, anytime a company has customer service available in English, I'm thrilled, but still, a little bit of annoying that they have that particular restriction. Um, let's see. One other kind of thing that is kind of interesting here is that Japan still has COD, and if you're not familiar with this, it stands for Charge on Delivery. This basically vanished in America in like the 1980s, but here you can still just like order something, and the delivery person brings it to your door, and then you pay for it then. Um, this is just one of those great examples of like how cash is really king in America, in Japan still. There are so many places where, like when I got my bank card, I asked, like, yeah, can you make it so that it's also a debit card? Okay, no problem. Except nowhere I have yet to find any place that will take a debit card. I mean, like I could use my American debit card, which of course I got from through the credit card companies. But here it's just like, nope, the supermarket won't take it. Starbucks will not take a debit card. And this is, you know, again, I'm American. I'm used to carrying like a little bit of cash and just doing everything with my debit card. But this just feels painfully backwards in the 21st century. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of when I was living in Korea, where they did have a decent, where they had online banking, but the way it worked was just so often such an enormous pain in the butt. They gave you this like little card, and with like if you wanted this, you had to put in like this, not like on a credit card where you have basically they have like secret number on the back. It's sort of like, okay, like there's a line, it's like, okay, put in like randomly, like put in number 17 from the first line, and then put in number 9 from like, and like there'll be a number 9 and there would be like some other number there, like 36 or something. And this was kind of their way of doing security. And after a while, I just sort of like, this is stupid and ridiculous. And I literally say, okay, I'm just absolutely not going to mess with online banking in this country anymore. And I literally took a pair of scissors and cut that particular card into strips, and just to be safe, threw away the strips in a couple of different trash cans around town. And bank books, like actual bank books, are still really big both here in Korea and Japan. But okay, I've kind of gone off on a little bit of a tangent here. But this is kind of one of those situations where, yes, Japan is a modern and advanced country, but there are some aspects in which Japan really lags behind. So the convenience of being able to add Amazon Kindle purchases and general things like that to my phone bill is great, but the doing other banking things here is an enormous pain in the butt. If you want to use the banks, for example, to transfer money to your account in your home country, uh, that's a tricky one. Uh, I ended up being told basically at the bank recently when I wanted to do that, you have to get a My Number card, which is basically sort of like a Japanese social security card. Which, and I'd been living in Japan for over a year, and never once has anybody under any circumstances asked for that. Um, I mean, it's just not something I needed. So that was a big pain in the butt. Um, and boy, I think I'm just kind of running out of steam here. But no, there are other options that if you want to transfer money from Japan to your home country. But despite it being a pain in the butt, I personally feel more comfortable just using the large banks, simply just because things, a lot of these new methods to me. What can I say? I'm just still kind of suspicious of some of these newer methods, and there are some legitimate criticisms to level at them. And exactly which method you use is really going to depend on how much you want to send. If you want to send a smaller amount of money versus a very large amount of money, some services are better than others. But just my personal preference is I like to use the stuff with the banks because that feels the most secure and insured in the event that something disastrous should happen. Anyway, guys, I think that's enough for right now. So I'm going to call it here. As always, please comment, rate, subscribe. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Gaijin Gaiden, and also please join me on Tumblr at Gaijin Gaiden. Until next time, take care and have a good one.